Hello everyone, I'm Aman Dua and I'm currently studying in FMS Delhi. So what I've done here is I have talked to a lot of people who are my friends who were in the same situation last year just like me, and I have tried to figure out what is it that they did in the last leg of their preparation, and that is the insights I'm bringing up for you. Now, everyone that I talked to had at least 98 percentile, and I feel from 98 percentile to 99.5 percentile, usually it's your strategy or your luck sometimes. So, how to make sure that your luck factor is not affected is what I'm trying to convey here, and you will see in this insights as well. So moving on, what we have for today is very simple actually. There are three core mantras that we are going to talk about today. First is stimulating the experience, and this is very important, and we'll start with this very thing. We'll come to the other two later, but let's look at stimulating the experience. So there are three things that you need to take care of: noise, posture, and mouse. What do I mean by that? So sometimes, see, you cannot control where your examination center would be, and you cannot control what would be happening there. There could be a construction site just next to your examination center. It could be right next to a railway track. And these are not imaginations. These are things that people faced in my slot, in my those who gave attempt with me, and there are people who had to repeat an attempt because they did not cater in for these things. I know a friend who just to stimulate this, he gave a mock test in a political rally. So you know the kind of noise levels that are there in a political rally. He just sat there and gave a mock test. So the point is to practice giving mock test in noisy environments. Anyway, when you're giving that exam, if you have given any exam, maybe JEE or any other exam throughout your life, you will realize that the clicks of mouse, that noise would definitely be there, even if there is no other noise. So you need to factor that in. Right now, you're sitting on your sofa, you're sitting on your bed, and you're telling all of your family members to not make a noise, and you're giving it in complete silence, but it's the last few days. So far, so good. It's not that you start by stimulating noise because then you can't figure out what are your weaker sections. But right now, you need to factor that in, give one or two mocks with that. Second is your posture. How are you giving? Are you sitting on your sofa? Are you sitting on your bag with your legs stretched? Are you sitting, are you going to your coaching institute to give that exam? So the idea is that during exam, you would be sitting on a very uncomfortable chair, on a very uncomfortable system. And well, let's just say that the keyboard is not the best. Right now, you're having your laptop, and it is probably one of the best. You're having your gaming laptop, some of you, right? So when you go for your exam, your posture matters. How would you be sitting for those 2 hours? So you need to practice that. You need to practice sitting straight, sitting on a desk, and then give your exam. You need to see, okay, how much I would be bending when I'm solving my DLR questions, where would I be keeping my notebook. For example, some of the people I see them, they sit cross legs, they have their laptop in front of them and they keep their notebook on their thigh and then they solve the questions. Not possible in exam. And posture is important because if you're not comfortable with your posture, and it takes your space when you're solving questions. Usually you would have issues with your posture by the time you reach either the final space of DILR or in the quant section, and you don't want that to happen. And third is your mouse. Some people they give MOOCs using laptop. So your laptop has your touchpad, or some people have even iPad. They give MOOCs on iPad, and that's perfectly fine to be honest, as far as the preparation is concerned. But get a wireless mouse, and don't get a very good wireless mouse. Don't get a gaming mouse. Get a simple wireless mouse and try it out. Because in exam, it is really a hustle to deal with that mouse. And don't get a great, a smooth mouse pad. You're not getting that in exam. Trust me, there is no center that has good mouse pads with them. Also, one thing that's not mentioned in PPT, if any of your keyboard or your mouse is not working during the exam, get it changed. Be authoritative. Uh, if you have to fight for it, get it changed. It is their responsibility to change it. Get it before the exam starts, and they will not change it easily because it's a hassle. They have a lot of thing to do. It's their responsibility, but they will not change it if you're very shy. If you're, oh, go, could you please change it? Oh, okay. If anything happens during the exam, your attempt is gone. So it is important for you to check for your mouse, for your keyboard, and if there is anything at all that you feel is not right, get it changed. And finally, the cyber cafe hack. So if you have a cyber cafe nearby, that we used to have, I think 3, 4 years back, I don't see them anymore now. But if you can pay them, I don't know, 20 rupees for half an hour, whatever the rate is, give a mock there, because there you would have noise, you would have customers shouting, Mera pehle kar do, bhaiya, please. And you would have to sit in that uncomfortable chair on a stupid system in an uncomfortable posture with a mouse that's not so great. So that's a perfect recipe for stimulating the experience. So if you guys can go to a cyber cafe to give a mock test, do it. Coming on to the next thing, analyzing yourself. What does this mean? So far, you have analyzed the moves. So far, what you have done is you have found your weaker areas. You're maybe weak in arithmetic, maybe algebra, and you have practiced those chapters. You have figured out, okay, the kind of set that I want to pick in DLR first. If there is something that is calculation intensive, I really like that, or I hate that, I will push that to the back. You have figured those things out, I hope. And you have also understood things like, okay, this is a particular question. I'm going to leave geometry. I'm not comfortable with PNC. Even in VRC, this is the kind of RCs that I like to attempt first, and that's absolutely fine. What you need to right now do is analyze, what is it that you think when you're solving a question? How is it that you feel when you're solving a question? So I'll give you a few examples. Is it that by the time you're reaching the quant section, you're too tired? Does that happen with you? And if it does, you need to give a sectional text just after your mock. So what happens is that increases your stamina. So by the time you would reach quant, you won't be tired. That's a hack to increase stamina. And that's just one example. This is not, I can't share all the possible cases with you. I don't even know all the possible cases. You need to figure it out for yourself. And you may ask me, hey, it's just what, 10, 12 days. I don't know when you would be watching the session, maybe 7 days left. And why should you do all of it? Does it even make sense? Point is, a single insight from this kind of analysis can improve your score throughout all these sections. Maybe you'll figure out, okay, sometimes when I'm dehydrated, I'm not able to perform well. Maybe you figure out that, and then you make sure you're not dehydrated during your mocks and during your cat. That's just one example. So any insight that you can get has potential to increase your scores across all the sections. And that is very important. Moving on, a wake up call. What do I mean by it? To mock in the same time slot as your actual slot. This is something you must have heard by now from various sources. If you have a morning slot, you wake up in the morning, you give your exam 8:30 to 10:30, and that's how you kind of synchronize your body clock. Question is, when do you wake up for it? If your examination center is, let's say, 40, 50 kilometers away, and you're planning to travel to that center on the same day, and you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. for it, at 8:30, if you're giving now mock, waking up at 8 and giving mock at 8:30, that's not same. In the mock, it's just been 30 minutes since you have woken up. You just, maybe had a glass of milk, brushed a little, whatever your morning schedule is, and you sat for your mock. In case of your exam, you would be traveling beforehand. You'd be waking up at 5. So, I mean, for some things you can't really stimulate. For example, the butterflies, the nerves that would come on the last day, and that's why it's the final day. But at least you need to check, okay, 3 hours after, if I wake up at 5, do I feel hungry at 8:30? Do I feel hungry from 8:30 to 10:30? Do I get sleepy in between? Some people may feel lethargic. I mean, I know a couple of people who would feel lethargic if they wake up in the morning, if especially they're not morning people. You need to figure these things out. And there are a lot of things, a lot of other things that could happen. So you need to stimulate the time when you would be waking up on your exam day. It's not just that you would just wake up at 8 to give a mock at 8:30. And this is going to be really helpful for you. Trust me on this. So, I think I have rambled a lot. I hope it was very helpful. But if you still have any questions, any doubts regarding anything I shared, or if you liked something about the session, did not like something about the session, please scan this QR code. This is a feedback form. I'll also get a link attached in the description, so you can also go there, or you can also comment if you want. If you have any questions, I'll prefer that you send them through the form so we can see if we can look at them in the coming videos. Please, I would love it if you could provide me some feedback. And this is where I would like to leave you. Point being, it's not over until it is. Thank you and all the very best.